Hey guys, I am here with the Polestar 2. Let's take a look. Before we do, please press that subscribe button. Thanks. So I know a lot of you want to know, what is Polestar? So is Polestar Volvo? Is Volvo Polestar? Kinda, yes and no. So Volvo is a subsidiary of Volvo and has been for a long time. Then it came out a few years ago as its own EV brand, right? EV performance brand. And it's always been a performance trim for Volvo, but now it's its own brand. So its first vehicle was the Polestar 1. Polestar 1 was a limited production vehicle, actually still is. They're making 500 versions of that car per year, with 2021 being the final year of production. And then this, appropriately named, is the Polestar 2, which is its mass market vehicle. So let's get into that. The term I'm driving here today is the launch edition. What makes it the launch edition? Well, it makes a lot of the upgrades standard, meaning it's all-wheel drive, it's dual motor, it's got the vegan interior. It's actually, the vegan interior is standard on the Polestar 2. And what's the other upgrade? I don't know, but it's got a sweet sound system. I think that's certainly worth noting. So new for 2022 is the single motor Polestar 2, which also comes in front wheel drive, making its starting price a bit lower, which is nice. But either way, the Polestar 2, either in the launch edition or in the single motor edition, does qualify for the $7,500 federal tax rebate, which is really nice. One of the things that makes the Polestar 2 distinctive is just straight up its design, right? So you can tell it's a little cousin of the Volvo S60 because it has a similar stance. Both ride a little bit higher than a traditional sedan, but there are a few things like these gorgeous tail lights are really beautiful, the continuous tail lights. And also don't miss the wide tires, which is great with the all-wheel drive because it gives you a little bit more stickiness on the road. I really dug that. But you'll notice just beautiful design details, mainly in the interior of this vehicle, but the exterior is quite gorgeous, as one would expect from Scandinavian design. The range on the launch edition is 240 miles, and then so that's got the dual motors. When you go to the single motor front wheel drive vehicle, you go up to 260 miles per range. The horsepower on the launch edition is 408 with 487 foot-pound of torque. And you can really feel that in this vehicle. It's a lot of fun, I'm not gonna lie. However enjoyable the drive is in this vehicle, I wouldn't call this a performance car. It drives very formally. It checks all the boxes, but do you want to tool around in the Polestar 2? Not particularly. Will that matter for most consumers? Not really, but if you're looking for something that's truly going to be a performance sedan, this is not your choice. It does give you the option of adjusting the steering to be stiff, standard, or a bit loose. That's kind of nice, but in terms of this feeling like a performance car, it simply does not. The Polestar does feature one pedal driving, which is pretty great. And you can adjust that and turn it on and off if you want. But if you've never experienced one pedal driving, it's really wonderful, and it also helps the vehicle maximize its regenerative braking. Polestar 2 launch edition with the dual motors is getting from 0 to 60 in roughly 4.45 seconds, which is kind of snappy and pretty sweet. There are a few upgrades that you can select for this. There's a performance pack, which is $5,000. You can also go from the fully vegan interior to the Napa leather interior, which is an extra $4,000. You can also get 20-inch alloy wheels for an extra $1,200, and you can get a few groovy metallic colors for $1,200 as well. This, of course, is the matte gray, which is gorgeous. The interior of the Polestar 2 is very special. I wouldn't say it feels like a luxury car, but I also wouldn't say that it feels like a average car. It feels very Scandinavian, also feels quite formal. I really enjoyed the driver interface. I love this big screen. In fact, this is the first vehicle powered by Android and comes installed with all of the Google apps, which is kind of groovy, especially if you're an Android enthusiast. There are two things that are tricky about the Polestar 2 and its drive, and I'm going to tell you guys so you don't get fooled. Number one, there's no on-off switch. So basically you get in the car and if it detects the key, you can just put it in drive, and you have to put on your seatbelt, otherwise it's going to freak out, and you go. Once you get somewhere, you put it in park, take the key with you, and it turns itself off. If you've never experienced that in an EV, it can be quite disconcerting, but I promise you it knows what it's doing. The second thing is there's no visible trunk switch. So there is a trunk button. Let me show you guys where that is on the in the car, bottom left of the steering wheel. There is also a trunk switch. Well, not here, not there, but down here. What? Fantastic. So just so you know, that's a thing. Also, as you can tell, this is a 5-door vehicle, so it's a hatchback, which means you can remove this and put those back seats down, and you've got yourself a little wagon. Fantastic. Also, power lift gate, which is kind of, standard these days. With a kick, it opens up, which is nice, especially if you've got grocery bags in your hands. In terms of charging the Polestar 2, you've got DC fast charging, which brings you to 80% in 40 minutes, and that's with 150 kilowatts. And you can go from 0 to 100% in 8 hours with one of those wall boxes that are 11 kilowatts. But then with the standard, just regular plug, it'll take you 22 hours to go from 0 to 100%. Pricing on the Polestar 2 is different. In the launch edition, it's in the high 50s, but that brings you closer or just under 50 grand with the $7,500 federal tax incentives. And for the 2022 Polestar 2 with the single motor, that pricing comes in at $47,200, which brings you under $40,000 when you get the $7,500 tax credit. So compared to the Tesla Model 3, I know a lot of you are comparing this vehicle to the Model 3. Number one, yes, it is made in China, but you would never get in this vehicle and think cheap Chinese, because it just isn't. The build quality is really great. The fit and finish of everything I experienced was quite good. However, unlike Tesla and the Model 3, there aren't a bajillion of these on the road. I don't know about where you live, but I see a Tesla Model 3 every time I turn around. Polestar 2, I don't see very often. Plus, it's a great looking car and a unique looking car. It doesn't look like everything else on the road, and it is uniquely Scandinavian. Another thing that's special about Polestar versus Tesla is Polestar's commitment to the environment. They're very transparent. They're very passionate about making sure everything they do is sustainable, and that is unique for an automaker, let's face it. What did I not like about the Polestar 2? Well, really my biggest complaint was that back seat. It really wasn't comfortable for two adults. The ventilation could have been a lot better. But they made up for it with a really nice drive experience, an amazing sound system, really intuitive technology, and this beautiful design. I can't wait to see what Polestar comes out with in terms of the SUV. That should be a really interesting release. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.